What is going on, everyone? This is Adam and Craig with Grandstand Golf, and in this video, we are talking 2020 US Open DFS picks and fades. Very excited for this video. Craig, I'm going to hit you with a little bit of trivia before we get started.
Oh,
Who
great.
was the who was the last person to win a US Open in September?
Byron Nelson.
I'm going to butcher this name, but I know you know this name. Francis Ouimet.
Oh,
The greatest game
the
ever played.
yeah, Shayla Buff.
Yeah. I don't know if that's an indication of how good we're gonna have a US Open for this year, but I mean I think that's a good omen.
I think that is. Was
So
that over Bobby Jones and Harry Varden or something?
I mean I know more the movie than the book
Me
or
too.
even like the actual, but yeah, I mean it seemed dramatic.
Yeah.
So we're talking DFS picks and fades. This is kind of our wrap-up video before we do the US before we get into the US Open. Craig, let's start off, I guess.
Yeah, well, I guess jumping right into who I've got as my higher end pick, and so now I guess I should say in our first look video I did highlight Justin Thomas a bit because I do like him, and there are other guys that I'll have in my player pool up there, but
Right.
one guy who seems to be bumping on, and every way I look at this tournament is Webb Simpson,
Hmm.
and so Webb, I mean, first off, he's got a great U.S. Open history.
Right.
I mean, obviously he's a winner. It's been a while now. I want to say it was
Yeah.
2012 maybe, but last 3 years he was tie 16, tie 10, tie 35. So he's able to produce um, at these more difficult courses.
Hmm.
Now, obviously, I know Xander is another guy that we've spoken about a bit, and he has a really good U.S. Open
Yeah. Yeah.
history in the last
Oh
few
yeah.
years. But I just think it's something, it shows that he's playing well at these courses.
Yep.
Um, the big things when I have been looking at Webb here, that stand out to me. So now you may not have known this, but Webb is the number one player if you take away off the tee. If you just imagine we're dropping balls out there in the fairway, Webb's
So
actually
he,
the number one player in strokes gained,
what you're telling me is
eliminating.
we want to get Webb on our scramble team. You just
Yeah,
poke a drive out there, then Webb will take care of the rest.
he'll take care of everything. Um, No, so I mean, when we were looking at the core at how we expect the stats to predict who's going to do well this
Yeah.
week, oftentimes off the tee is the most heavily weighted one,
Hmm.
and while it does show some strong weight at U.S. Opens, winged foot. Last time it was at winged foot, it was the lowest of
Right.
the stat categories. Um, but even if it's just given it, a bit of a bump down from what it normally is, I think it's the type of thing that gives a guy like Webb, who relies much more on accuracy and really positioning around the green, and then getting, from where he is, getting it down in as few strokes as possible.
Yeah.
Um, it really, rewards that kind of play. Um, Now, Webb, so when I did the course fit as is, he's the number three. So
Right.
we'd spoken about, I had sort of talked about JT as my
Hmm.
early
Hmm.
look pick at the high end, and the one you had mentioned was John Rahm, and those were
Yeah.
the only two guys above him in terms of how I had broken down the course.
Yeah.
So yeah, the signs point towards him being well suited for this course.
Right.
I think that when I just used purely the single tournament that was played here and looked at
Hmm.
the categories, he
Hmm.
was actually number one. So
Yeah.
it's not a sample size that you can take enough from, but
Right.
um,
Of course.
I think it's the type of course that Webb could be a little bit flying under the radar for.
Yeah, I think if you're off kind of the big guys, the DJs, Roms, JTs, Rorys, even Xander, Webb is a great place to start a more balanced build. I really
Yeah.
like kind of starting there. If you want to do kind of a balance and you don't want to dip below 7,000, I think that's a great starting off point.
Yeah. What have you've got Cantlay here that you
Yeah,
want to?
so I mean, yours is great. Mine's even better. Patrick Cantlay, he's right below Webb. He's just above Berger and Finau, who I think are going to be extremely popular as well. So if you actually click on the predictor model or Grandstand Golf predictor model
Oh yeah.
for both years, and Cantlay's actually fifth. So people think he's kind of in a rut right now, but he's really not. He even at his worst, he's making cuts, and he's played in 4 U.S. Open. And he's made all four cuts. At his best, he's contending for the title. So I think if you're looking for a kind of a safer play, Cantlay is a really nice option. Maybe a second option to fill into lineups, or even starting there if you want to go extremely kind of balanced build. Uh, just a really clean all around game. I mean, you can see that on the right with his strokes gain stats. He's positive pretty much all the way around. And despite the down year, he's 10th still in strokes gained total. So very balanced player. I think he's going to have a little bit of ownership, but it seems like people are more talking about him on Wednesday, the day before the U.S. Open, when we're recording this. But someone I couldn't make a lineup without putting him in because I think he's got a good shot here.
Yeah, he also to me seems like one of those guys that we talk about where because their results haven't been super sexy in the last little bit, they're a
Hmm.
little bit of an afterthought.
Right.
I mean, this result to me, I like because of how tough the BMW Championship was playing. A tie for
Hmm.
12th, yeah, it's not winning, but like it shows that at what was our most difficult tournament in the lead up to this, he was playing well there.
Well, and we talk about hard courses as being a good indicator for this one. And despite him not doing well, he's making the cut at PGA. He's making the cut at Memorial. So, like I said, that's kind of like his floor. And then his ceiling is just as high as all these other guys.
Yeah, I like it.
So
Okay,
mid
so
range,
into the mid range, at 8,000,
yeah.
I've got Matt Fitzpatrick, and I think with this range, I think we are going to creep into higher ownerships,
Hmm.
just because you know everyone seems to like a lot of the guys around this range.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we look at Matt Fitzpatrick, or I mean, we could just look at the top of the putting stats, but basically, he's the number one player this year in the field in
Yeah,
putting, and typically that's something that I try to shy away from because it is difficult to um, predict how someone's going to putt on any given week, and usually ball striking is a much safer place to get consistency from, and then you
right.
get them on a you get a good ball striker on a good putting week. But
Hmm.
just with how they're talking about the greens at Winged Foot,
Yeah,
and with the results from the last time the Open was here, it figures that putting is going to be
yeah,
absolutely key,
yeah,
and so might as well get the best putters there are.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
he he he's played well. We've spoken about trying to look at when we don't have a full record of 10 tournaments that have been played at Winged Foot. How do we where else
Yeah,
can we look? And we've
right.
looked at prior U.S. Opens and at some of the difficult tournaments this year.
Hmm.
And so we look at BMW Championship at
Yeah,
um, Olympia North or whatever it was called.
right.
So he was tied for sixth there. PGA Championship mixed the cut. Not great, but that's fine. Memorial, third. And
Hmm.
FedEx St. Jude was playing pretty tough. Tie for
Yeah,
six. So that, and combined with that, his last three U.S. Opens, tie for 12, tie for 12, tie for 35th. So these are all the
um,
type of things that
yeah,
I'm looking beyond just the straight numbers they've had in the seasons.
yeah,
He performs well on tough courses,
yeah.
and so the other one, he's never missed a cut at a U.S. Open. So
Hey, just like Canley, him and Canley can be best friends.
yeah, I don't know. I like him as I think he's got a fairly safe floor, and I think he can easily find himself with the top 10.
Yeah, I like it. I like guys who are historically strong putters this week because I think that is something that will be very important. So if we're looking at my mid-range play, I'm looking at Tyrrell Hatton, 8,100.
Speaking of
Again,
strong putters,
speaking of strong putters, I think his ownership, I mean, again, I'm not really too concerned about his ownership. You can see his DraftKings efficiency there in the first column is extremely high. I think he's priced maybe just looking down, maybe around 20th, but there's no reason. I mean, he's a top 10 kind of, at least top 15 guy in the world. I think his top 14 official world golf ranking, he's extremely balanced. So all across his stroke gain stats are positive. Again, looking at stroke gain total, seventh on the year. Comes in with 3 consecutive top 25s. I know, I mean, Tour Championship, there's only 30, but it was
And so this result here, this is his gross. So he was, of those 30 for that week, he was fifth in terms
fifth,
of
seventh with the adjusted scoring. He's got 5 career top tens in majors, so he's no stranger to performing well with the best kind of guys in the field. Light Fitzpatrick missed the cut at the PGA Championship, but I'm not too concerned about that. These guys were just coming back; they were just getting into the swing of things. I think Hatton, yes, he might be a very popular play, but he's just priced too low for the kind of talent that he is. I think he fits really well here. There's not a whole lot of holes in his games. He's just a very strong player that should do well here.
yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. So my low, I didn't go very low because
Yeah, so that's quite the jump from mid to low.
well, we also do have
$100.
a sleeper video out, so you can see some of my lower end plays there. Um, but I felt like I had to highlight Harris English just because and this is where I struggle because I think in my player pool I'm likely going to have all three of these guys, and so
Yeah,
I need to find
talk
out.
about balance.
Yeah, I need to find out what that means for structuring lineups and how to sort of spread that out through them.
Right.
Um, but Harris, so he's just been absolutely on a tear since the restart.
Hmm.
And I mean, missed the first cut, but since then, eight straight, his worst finish is top 40
Super
since
clean.
then.
Yeah.
Uh, aside from, so there's a top 40 and a 23rd. Aside from that, it's six of those nine tournaments he's been in the top 20. So that, I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty much as good of recent form as you could want. And you
Yep.
combine that with, that's been all season long that he's been doing that.
Hmm.
Um, Now, he's another guy like Cantlay and Fitzpatrick that he hasn't had as many U.S. Open starts, but he's never missed a cut at the U.S. Open. So um, it figures that, or I figure that he's going to do pretty well here. He
Hmm.
has done well on tough courses. I think that there's a good chance of a top 10, and I think he's one of these ones who also it's safer that he's going to get to the weekend, and depending on what
Yep.
else you have in your lineup, get you really good value points out of the salary spent on him.
Yeah. I like it. He's gonna make a lineup for me for sure. So my low end, as Craig said, we have a sleepers video that kind of goes about all like our 6 of our favorite plays under 7,500, so you can see more information there. I went because we're talking about DFS picks and fades. I went Connor Syme, and I didn't go Thomas Peters, who I really like as well. I went Connor because if you're building a lineup with maybe Fitzpatrick, Hatton, English guys who are more popular, this is how you can get a little bit different. I think a lot of people are looking at Harmon possibly, which I mean you are, and if you want to go that route, that's fine too. But Syme is an interesting guy to me just with how well he's been playing on the Euro Tour. I talked about in our sleepers video, but he is T8, T8, T19. His stats for the European Tour this year, he's fifth in driving accuracy, seventh in greens and regulation, and 23rd in strokes gained putting. So from tee to green, he's playing really well. He won't be very well known for the North American fan. He also doesn't have North American experience, so it's much more of a flyer, but someone that I like as at minimal ownership under kind of 6,500. Connor Syme.
Yeah, I like it. I have to do research on him because I haven't gotten him in any lineups yet, but I feel like I might be making a mistake with that.
Well, I did send you one video of him this past month where he was off the tee with his driver, threaded it through some trees, and then hit the green that was kind of 380 yards away, I think.
Yeah, it looked like he was just hitting it off into the bush or something, but it
Yeah.
ended up on the green.
Yeah. All right, Craig,
Um,
you're fading Bryson. Tell me what's up there.
So, I mean, I on the podcast I've been talking about Bryson as my stock down a few times here in the past few weeks. Um, I so I just struggle to see how this transformed game of his is going to work that well here.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that he really does have going for him is the putter,
Yeah.
and so I mean he's great putter. I think he always has been, but it's even more so this year.
Hmm.
I just really so the thing that scares me about Bryson is, amongst these guys up here in the expensive section of the lineup here,
Yeah.
you don't want to see these kind of numbers. Like,
Yeah.
if you're looking at your sleepers and you see kind of neutral numbers for approach and around the green,
Hmm.
that's fine. But I don't think he's going to be able to find enough advantage off the tee because you can't just pound it out there.
Yeah.
And so if he is trying to pound it out there, and then if he pounds it out there and it gets accurate, um,
Sure.
I think he,
Yeah.
maybe I'll scale the fade in, but I just don't see him making a single one of my lineups. I don't think I think that style of game may be suited to certain golf courses. I think everything I've heard about winged foot,
Right.
they talk about dog legs with reverse cambers where you really have to
Hmm.
shape it and not just try to like pick your line that you can
Yeah.
crush it at. Um, and so then if he's not getting that advantage off the tee, and we don't really have the faith that he's going to be making strokes up between, once he's off the tee before
Fairway
he
to
gets
green.
to the
Yeah.
green,
Yeah.
I just don't see how he's going to make up, how he's going to run away from the field in any way. And up in that price range, you want someone who's going to run away, who's going to win the
Yeah.
tournament.
So I completely agree with everything you said, but I'm making four lineups this week. One will have because I am kind of sucked into the whole Bryson experiment right now. He was talking in his press conference about even if he misses, he's gonna unleash driver. That's what he said. That's his game plan. That's his new strategy. And sure, go for it. He might miss the cut. I mean, he very well likely could miss the cut. But if he said if he misses it in the rough, these greens are so quick and the fairways are so quick that he can hack it out and run it up onto the green. So if he's missing on the right side and there's no obstacle or bunker between him and the green, he thinks he can still run it up there close. And I think maybe with a little bit more time, I mean his putting is strong, but if he can do well with his wedges, perhaps there's something there. And maybe the Bryson experiment kind of comes completely to fruition in the US Open. I don't know.
What and so that's sort of what I've been speaking about recently on the podcast, is that this Bryson experiment, this increase in his off the tee game. I think and I don't know enough about the mechanics of it, but
Hmm.
they talk about how hard it can be to swing so hard and then still have really soft hands, and they talk about JT as one of
Yeah.
those guys that really can slow his swing down well, and how hard that was as something that Rory had to learn
Yeah.
it for his wedge game. But until like if Bryson can keep these kind of gains on the tee and get back to, like, I think 2018 Bryson, that's a much more attractive
Right.
profile to me in terms of someone that can win.
Profile. You don't like his bulked up.
No, I don't like the bulk. No, but just in terms of someone who's going to come out to winged foot and win,
Yeah.
I like that, a little more balance between into the approach game,
Yeah.
and so that's really my reasoning. And
No, that's fair. So
until I'm
I'm,
proven wrong, I'll roll on that.
yeah, no, fair enough. I'm fading Dustin Johnson.
This is
I'm
a
not,
this is a bold one. When I saw this on here,
it is
I
both. And if you're looking for some statistical information as to why I'm fading Dustin Johnson, I can't really give you that. I feel like he was focused on the FedEx Cup, and he talked about how much it meant for him to win the FedEx Cup, and won the Tour Championship, and he's been on a tear. If you just look at his recent
all the
results, there,
screen.
on the screen, everything across the board is looking extremely. I don't. It's just good, and he's a great U.S. Open player. I was on him way back in Pebble when he was two-time. Uh, he won on the course two times before he played the U.S. Open in Pebble. I mean, I was early on Dustin way
You're like
back in
it.
the
You're
day.
like that hipster that liked the band before they got big, and
Yeah,
now that they're big, you want to fade them.
I don't like their new stuff. I don't like that new release. Like I said, I built four lineups. DJ's not in any of them. I just don't think he needs to get a top five at that price point. I just don't think it's going to happen. So I'm off
I
him.
mean, I think if you're
Taking-
rostering DJ, you're doing it with the thought that he's going to win.
yeah. And this is DFS. I mean, if that's the thing, if Dustin Johnson gets a top 20, I don't think he's going to be in the lineup that wins. So I'm fading him to not win, essentially. I don't necessarily know if he'll miss the cut, but hey, I mean, I just don't. I don't like what I'm. It sounds crazy to say I don't like what I'm seeing, but I was watching his press conference. His demeanor is so DJ. He wasn't even sure if he played the course before. It was all really weird. I think he's maybe just coming off his FedEx Cup win, and he's going to be lackluster performance.
Yeah, I mean, I also think that you could make a good argument, even if he is, say he is the most likely to win this week.
Yeah.
But if, like, everyone is so high on DJ right now that
Yeah.
it's almost like you have to pick him, have him win, and then also then nail all your sleepers and other things you really want to do to get him in your lineup. And I mean,
let's just slow down a little bit. It's not Tiger 2000. It's not Tiger versus the field when he's that good. I know DJ's probably playing the best of anyone right now, but the field is so strong. The field is so good.
Yeah, it's an aggressive fate. Like I don't think I'm rostering him just because of strategic reasons. But it still just seems aggressive to me to put someone who has gone
roll the
third,
dice.
and I mean a lot of people are calling this one a first, but third, second, first, second in terms of golf the last few weeks.
Hey.
But I like it. I mean he's not in my pool, so I hear ya.
Yeah. Thank you everybody for watching our video. As Craig mentioned, we have our sleepers video that's also up on YouTube, so please check that out. The model that you've seen is on our website at grandstandgolf.com. And please like and subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified for upcoming videos. We will be doing some showdown videos later in the US Open, so please watch out for that.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, see ya.